Hello, and welcome to the Light Reading Podcast. This is the Halloween edition of the Notebook Dump. And this week, we are walking through the cemetery and looking for gadget zombies and technology ideas that shouldn't still be here, but somehow they just won't die. My name is Phil Harvey. I'm the beheaditor-in-chief of Light Reading.
I'm Kelsey Spooky Sizer.
I'm just plain old Jeff Baumgartner, senior editor.
I'm Nicole Ferraro, future ghost.
There we go.
You can't haunt me,
All right,
Nicole.
welcome,
Oh, I'm haunting you right now.
You just issued her a challenge.
So we went back into our notebooks. Well, not really our notebooks, just this thing called the internet. And we want to discuss some technologies that, still haunt us to this day, or things we couldn't, that may still be around, but we can't believe they're still here, or whatever. It's kind of a free-flowing edition because it is Halloween and you shouldn't even be at work if you're listening to this. What are you doing? Get out and go to your neighborhood and knock on doors and get some good candy. Not the candy corn stuff, the real stuff. Doesn't have chocolate, it's not candy. That's the rule. Let's see, who wants to go first?
I'll go.
All righty, Miss Spooky.
Spooky story from Google. Sorry.
You have to keep that voice the entire podcast.
Whoa, what I found on the internet was... I don't think I can keep it going. Everyone's already turned off the podcast. Sorry, guys. Well, it looks like Google Glass is coming back again. I think around May they announced that they're going to try again. So the glass holes will be returning.
I remember those guys.
Yeah.
Well, who's the...
I didn't...
Sorry, who was the blogger? You're talking about Google Glass and, glass holes. Who was the guy? It was like a blogger who took a picture of him in the shower with Google Glass on. I'll have to find
I remember that.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Be thankful you never saw it.
Put that in the show notes.
No, and I'm afraid to search for it.
Yeah. There wasn't a ton of information on like what'll be different. I mean, when it initially launched a few years ago, I imagine there's, the AR technology has come a lot longer way. So, maybe there's more applications. Hopefully they'll make them look a little bit better. But I still don't, what do you guys think? I don't know if people are going to be on board with folks walking around and potentially recording them. I mean, there's already, people doing that on their phones and then getting other people aggravated.
I was about to say, every time I walk into a coffee shop or retail store or something like that, I'm on somebody's TikTok. I don't know.
Feels in the back like
get away from it. Yeah, I know. So I have to dance everywhere. It's really fun.
Didn't Ray-Ban introduce their own glasses that worked with Instagram or some horrible Facebook product?
Yeah.
I occasionally see TikToks where somebody's, I think, wearing that because I don't know how else they're pulling it off unless there's some other smart glass thing that I'm not aware of. But no, thank you to all of that.
Yeah, I do agree that the AR component could be interesting, but I think that's a use case specific thing, like with virtual reality. Augmented reality, virtual reality are use case specific. I don't think it's something you need to be carrying with you at all times and wearing at all times. But yeah, if I'm giving a walking tour of a city and I can pop on these glasses and see, how a block has changed from the 1800s till now or whatever, totally cool. I'm down with that. But do I want to walk around like that all the time? I would be, I would be worried about the implications, just from it already has such a bad reputation that I wouldn't want to, antagonize anybody, but also just, I don't really see what the overall application is to have computing when you've got a smartphone that can do so much more. It just doesn't seem like practical.
I agree. I kind of feel like it's got to be like real application specific that really suits that, or unless I'm in the mood to, go out and say, I want to get punched in the face today. I mean, that's kind of where I would begin, is by putting one of those on and then just kind of, like you said, I just antagonize people just with my presence, wearing it. But but I think that there are some. I think, I think that they were obviously pretty early in the game with the original Google Glass, and there were a lot of ideas that kind of came through on it. But practical wearing it all the time, I don't know about that.
Yeah, probably not a great idea. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up. How they bring it to the public, what people say about it. Maybe there's some new application that they have on there that is going to make it all worth it. Jeff, what's haunting you to this day?
Well, the one thing that I want to talk about is the Sling Box, which is not really. I don't think it's a product that like flopped, right? But it's definitely
it was successful.
Yeah, I mean, it had kind of a practical use, but the reason I bring it up is it's been around in the market for a long time, but it's about to disappear. At least the service underpinning it is going away. I'll mention that in a bit. But I think there was some value to kind of get your full pay TV service, all the channels when you're outside the home. Even channels that when you're kind of in the streaming era now, you can get most of your channels while you're away, but not all of them. I mean, some you still have to be at home to get. I thought it was a pretty great idea for the time. When you needed but you kind of needed this kludgy kind of approach to pull it off. But as I mentioned, the days of the Sling Box are numbered. I went to check this again, but there's the number of consumers that still use it. They have until November 9th. So not long from now, they're going to turn off the servers permanently for Sling Box. So they're going to become bricks, interoperable. So question I had before I have props. So do any of you have a Sling Box? Have you ever purchased one?
I have not. I did look at it a lot, got very close, but I never made the commitment.
Okay. Well, I ended up with like 2 or 3 over the lifespan, the Sling Box, including like the original like chocolate bar looking thing. But I looked in my bookcase, and I still had this one, obviously collecting dust. Yeah. So this was the M2, I guess it's called. And I probably haven't used it for like 6 years, but it was there, and it was next to some other relics. I have a razor still kicking around.
Nice. Oh,
and
I'm kind of bummed you don't have a pink one. I always wanted the pink one.
Dial-up modem was sitting around. I mean, this thing was 33 kilobits per second. I mean, it was pretty blazing fast.
Yeah.
So a BlackBerry Bold, it's still. So apparently, I have a little like tech museum, over here in the corner. So I figured I'd just share some of that. Yeah. So
this is great. This is I like that you don't get rid of the gadgets, because I kind of regret getting rid of some of the older phones and stuff like that, especially my favorite phone of all time. I don't remember what the model was, but the Nokia candy bar phone that you just charged once a week, and it had like crystal clear voice calls all the time. I couldn't really do any texting on it or anything. That thing was amazing. I wish I'd never let it go.
Yeah. I held on to some of those. I should probably be more like environmentally conscious and, recycle it. But I'm like, no, I got to hold on to some of this stuff. Anyway. So
it's probably better for the earth in your house than
that's true. That could be.
Recycling. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Creative paperweight. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Nicole, you want to go next? Or you want me to go?
I can go next. I apologize if you can hear the city decided to show up and destroy the street outside my apartment just in time for us to start recording.
Perfect.
This isn't what I was going to talk about, but since you're talking about phones, it reminds me of a ghost phone from my life, which was the Nextel. And it was huge when I was in high school. And so in the lunchroom in high school, all you would hear, because like it was the thing where you...
Oh, is that the walkie-talkie one?
Yeah, so it was like, and I went to high school in Queens with and so it was just heavy Queens accents coming over intercoms. It was like chirp chirp, Hey, where you at? You know, you coming to class? We skipping? Anyway, that's we going to Blue Bay Diner. So that's chirp chirp. That's what you guys just reminded me of. I missed the Nextel, but what I was going to talk about for this is a technology that is dead that haunts me. It's somewhat relevant given what Jeff just talked about, but you know, everybody who knows me, there's two things I care about: broadband and Broadway. So when I was one of America's first cord cutters back in like 2010, the only problem I had without having cable TV was that I like to watch the Tony Awards once a year, which is only broadcast over CBS. So I was thrilled when in, I think, 2012, a new service came out called Aereo, which basically allowed you to broadcast regular television over broadband. So I had it all, you know, I had Broadway broadcast over broadband.
It's called convergence.
I wish we had a little counter in the corner for like how many times Nicole has said broad in the like last 2 minutes.
I've never said broad. I've said broad.
Yeah, broadband, Broadway.
An extra syllable, more than I have.
It is different. Yeah. You gotta have a counter on the
broad church
up on your screen.
But the good times didn't last because the usual suspects who like to ruin my day, incumbents and the Supreme Court, killed Aereo not long after it was born.
The rest of us just have annoying neighbors. Nicole actually rails against the Supreme Court.
It's the Supreme Court, always ruining my day. Yeah. And this is especially relevant because the founders of Aereo are the same founders of the fixed wireless startup Starry, which is going through some growing pains right now. As we know, completely different set of circumstances troubling Starry than what troubled Aereo, but two really innovative ideas, good people pulling for Starry in an objective journalistic way. Miss Aereo now and forever. So rest in peace, Aereo. Come back.
Yeah, I do.
Now I have to go to my friends' houses to watch the Tony Awards. I don't like to go out at night.
Chirp, chirp. Are we watching the Tonys? Chirp, chirp. I'll bring the Totinos. Pizza rolls.
Totinos. God.
This
is New York City.
This is New York. Yeah, she can walk to her friend's house and get a slice on the way.
I can get a slice at every
she can
corner.
Show up and say,
Wawa hoagies. What is this? Philly?
Yeah. What is this? Philly?
That's all I get.
Yeah.
Ran out of my regional accents right there. Well done. Yeah, it's cool.
Oh my god, they're literally destroying. I'm putting myself on mute.
Yeah, it sounds like are they gonna break through the wall at any point?
Yeah.
Is this a safety issue?
Come on, lay off the jackhammer.
It's like when does a wrecking ball come flying through? You know? Yeah.
Chelsea did an entire interview in a hard hat, so is that too much to ask?
Oh yeah,
I'm waiting for you to send me the company paid for a hard hat.
We ran out of budget.
What am I made of money out of here over here?
I'm waiting to make up an excuse to put that on an expense report. There's been some doozies, and I'm pretty sure that'll.
How many build out columns do I have to publish?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think? I can't. Oh, let's track how many broadband builds are happening. No, I want a hard hat. Come on.
So, my apologies for not reading the signals. I'm a guy. That's what we do. Totally oblivious.
Oh man.
Yeah. Wow. A lot going on there. So I stumbled onto a gravestone from 2011 to 2010, 2011. And this was like the ultimate. So I think usually, especially as it relates to home devices, usually convergence is a bad idea because it means you're going to get a product that doesn't really do either one of the things you bought it for. But this one was great. And I never bought this, but I used to love making fun of it. The HP PhotoSmart E-Station, which just by the name, you don't know. Exactly.
Jeff, it's a PhotoSmart E-Station.
It's a PhotoSmart E-Station,
it does
like we all have.
Photo stuff. Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Well, yeah. So actually, it was a printer that had an Android tablet that doubled as a navigation device when it was docked on the printer. But and it was like a little 7-inch tablet, and it it didn't really work like a normal tablet, though. It was kind of like it had all these widgets that were only associated with the printer. And this was something I found in here's HP's great at naming stuff. So the tablet was called the eStation Zeen, Zeen. I don't know what
Almost a
that
Zoom.
means.
I remember the
Yeah, it's
Microsoft
almost
Zoom. Yeah, almost
it's not
like
really.
Zoom.
Like, I guess they wanted to call it a magazine, so it was like so HP was looking at all of this and going like, "Oh, it's a digital magazine, so it's a zine." So I don't know.
I gotcha. Okay.
Anyway, they this is ripped right out of their manual, so I'll read this. You can use the HP eStation Zine to purchase and read books, magazines, and newspapers from the HP Barnes and Noble e-bookstore. So they had for this dumb tablet and this really dumb printer, they had like a whole relationship with Barnes and Noble where they made specially formatted ebooks and things to read on this stupid thing. And so just this whole idea of trying to take a multifunction printer, which are usually terrible ideas. In fact, I'll just back up there and just rant about the whole category. If you have a consumer printer in your home, those things are usually just hot garbage and you should get rid of it. Because they have like the weakest Wi-Fi radios on earth. They never connect properly and they don't have any value at all except to provide your cat a warm place to sleep. They almost never fully function the way they're supposed to. And even when they do, you're going to print exactly 2 photos before you run out of ink and owe them another $50. So go find a reputable photo printer or someone else and pay the extra money and get it printed properly. Because if you try to do stuff like that at home, you're just going to end up handing over a bunch of money for ink and never actually getting the device you want. But yeah, this thing was like Wi-Fi connected. But and as I was like looking, it won like a CES Innovation Award, amazingly, because it blended
Must have been
2
a bad
devices
year. Yeah.
that nobody wanted.
Yes.
Yeah. And then there was like, they said that, so there was like no app store associated with it. It was just like a bunch of widgets that HP had to kind of software update. So I'm not exactly sure when they killed the device. I'm sure it probably never made a big dent in the mass market, but it was just one of my favorite examples of like converging too many ideas and not really doing a good job at any of them. And the fact that it all centered around a home printer, which is just this scam and a ripoff anyway, is just one of the best, worst ideas ever.
Well, I think if they would have gotten like Netflix on it, they could have, maybe had some legs to it. Because back, the initial early days of like any like connected device that had apps on it, it's like, well, does it get Netflix? It was kind of the bar everyone had to get to. And if you didn't do that, you were SOL, it's like goodbye. Yeah. So maybe that's what they needed to do. I don't know.
It could have been. I was. I think so. Like I said, this was like 2011 timeframe. So I do remember that back then there was like a huge fascination with tablets in multiple sizes, and people were like, because Android based tablets were super cheap and coming. All the manufacturers had them, and so there was kind of a price race to the bottom, and there really wasn't. They were. There was this whole fantasy of people having multiple tablets for multiple applications and things like that. And that's why I can see how they got swept up in the idea, but the execution of this is just one of the funniest things ever. It's just terrible.
Yeah, I had to look up a picture of it. It's funny. It's got the like little tablet holder that could probably double as like a coffee mug holder off to the side. But I have that HP Tango printer. They do have fun names. Tango.
That sounds like a is it camouflage? Is it military by any chance?
No, it's just like a white box. So it's funny that they've gone from a tablet and a bunch of buttons and stuff to there's like a Wi-Fi connect and then on and off button, and that's it. And then everything else you do through the app on your phone.
Oh, interesting.
You just like hope it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 50% of the time it doesn't.
Yeah, you have to it comes with like a little thing of sage that you just like light before you use it, and some Palo Santo wood and little crystals on it. And usually that works like 50% of the time.
Yeah, the incense holder would have been a good addition to these things. Mug warmer, that would have been fine. Yeah, doing that thing. I liked how they were also in that still in that phase at print, in 2011, where printers were still like they were like you can get you can still get faxes sent to your machine, and you can get your email on the tablet as well. So it was like two worlds colliding, and wow, what a mess. I don't even remember what they charged for it. I couldn't find any pricing on it, so I don't know that it ever. Like I said, I don't know that it ever made a big dent in the market.
You can probably find one on eBay. Yeah, kind of see what the going price is right now. There you go.
Yeah, and it'll have like a little disclaimer. They no longer make this kind of ink.
This is a brick. Yeah, there you go.
They change the cartridge sizes of the ink every 5 minutes, so it doesn't matter when you buy your printer. It's going to be obsolete in a week. So it's just, it's such a ripoff. Anyway.
Always out of cyan, man.
I know. Before that, we didn't even know what it was. Any other gadgets or tech ideas you guys want to bury once and for all before we call it a day?
What's that, Nicole? I think you're...
Nicole's on mute.
I would love to, but it's just too loud out here. I'm going to keep it a secret.
Turn it down.
She's got like a Cylon dancing, right outside her building.
Yep.
Well, I would do
on
one.
The first floor.
Yeah. Oh, you do. Okay. Well, I don't know. I'd add just one that's kind of related to the sling box. I don't know if you guys remember Boxy at all. Yeah, that was kind of out there early with a streaming device that tried to kind of take a hammer to the pay TV model. Kind of like what Aereo was trying to do from a different approach. They weren't really able to set out what they wanted to do, but they did give the cable guys some headaches over at the FCC about keeping digital analog channels in the clear. So I give them high marks just from the annoyance standpoint to the cable industry. I think Samsung ended up buying Boxy, the assets, and is probably like sitting in a crate next to the crate that at the end of like Raiders of the Lost Ark, like in a warehouse somewhere. Just everyone's forgotten about it. Yeah. You pull the lid off and your face will melt. But where am I going with this? Anyway, so they were early to the game. They got a lot of hype, a lot of interest. They just kind of couldn't pull off the whole thing, and then just kind of got buried into the Samsung. And then, but the CEO Abner Ronan, he was a really fun character. He would actually come to some of our events back in the day and talk about he's trying to kick the cable guys in the head. So that was fun to listen to. So,
his name was Abner Ronan.
Abner Ronan, yeah.
Wow, that's like an intense.
He was a great keynoter. He was. We loved having him.
It was Boxy.
Dude, Kelsey, having not met the man, she's doing an impression of him.
It's a great platform.
Push the impressions button. Push the impressions button.
Go back to the spooky voice.
Yeah, right.
Bring back the wrecking ball.
I guess maybe on a different podcast we can go into all the different because what you said about Samsung reminded me of that all of the phone companies and a lot of the device makers at one point had their own broadcast or video service that was like premium video service at one time, or music. They either went full on into their own music service or full on into video at some point. We'll have to make a list of those and jar everyone's memory and give them the creeps all over again. Anyway, why don't we leave it there for now? Everybody, round up your costumes and let's go trick or treating. And hope everybody listening. Thanks for listening to the podcast and for going to Light Reading and reading our stuff. Have a happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
I hope it's